Epstein, and I'm the marketing specialist for the TDA Perks Program. Today's webinar, we're going to talk about digital place-based advertising and the benefits of relaxing patients, brought to you by TDA Perks partner eScapes, who powers the TDA Perks television network. Today, we're going to hear from Mr. John Oswald, eScapes General Manager. Quickly, I'd just like to mention that TDA Perks provides members, such as yourselves, access to valuable endorsed vendors and monthly and archived webinars. So again, this webinar will be archived for your use. And again, now I am going to pass for the presentation to John. And John, you're on.
All right, Josh, thank you very much. I appreciate that. Thank you, everyone. I appreciate you joining us for the webinar. Like Josh said, I'm the GM of the eScapes Television Network. I want to thank Josh and the TDA Perks Program for making this webinar possible. What we're going to talk about today is how digital signage can improve a dental practice's performance. Now, digital signage, you've seen it all over the place, but you may not have recognized it as digital signage. It's applicable to any retailer or service provider, but from what we're going to show you, you'll see how easily and effectively it can be used in dental practices. The presentation should last about 15 or 20 minutes, and then I'll be happy to take any questions afterward. Screens are everywhere. Like I just mentioned, you've seen them. It's digital signage. In the last 15 years, millions of digital signage screens have been installed in a wide variety of venues, like airports, sports arenas, restaurants, retailers. You've seen them in the mall. You see them along the major roads and highways. You've even seen them at the gas station, some of them right on the pump. And now you see them in doctors and dental offices. And why is that? Because digital signage has been found to be an extremely effective advertising platform, and it's really only second to the internet in advertising revenue growth. So this thing is taken off, and it's not going to go anywhere but up. Let's talk about the enabling technology that has spurred the spectacular growth of digital signage. There's got to be a reason for it, not the least of which is that it's effective. The price of these flat panel screens in the last 10 years, thanks to low-cost manufacturing, has been reduced to the point where they're widely affordable, even in small business settings. And during that same period, thanks to American technology, us, screen resolution has dramatically improved, making the digital signage experience a lot more impactful and attractive. Customers are used to seeing them. I know I am. You're used to seeing them, and now we expect them when we go places. Now, traditionally, digital signage has worked most efficiently in larger scale networks with large businesses that can manage their own content and network. Basically, it was priced out of the stratosphere for small businesses. These companies would put in big screens, but they would manage their own content and do all of that. It's highly technical at that stage, and that's something that they could afford to do, and they had staff to do it. But now, with the advent of the internet and cloud-based data storage and things like reliable solid-state video management computers, that little blue thing or purple thing you see on the screen there, that's called a media player. And that is ideal for small businesses. These media players are small enough that they can be easily installed even on the back of the flat panel monitors, and they deliver a high-resolution picture to today's affordable HD screens. Adding digital media to a dental practice and how we can change that practice's experience is the total focus of this webinar. It's easy and it is totally effective. The TDA PTN allows the use of the most powerful medium, which still is television, to effectively enhance the value of a practice's brand. Now, a brand is defined as an intangible asset. It's most often the most valuable asset that any business has. Now, people are generally willing to pay more for a branded product. Ask any teenager, and they'll tell you that. Products and services. They're more willing to pay for brands than they are for something that is largely unbranded. It's called perceived value. Now, imagine if you in your dental practice, you and your staff didn't have time to spend with a prospective patient explaining who you are and what you do. if you already have a brand established, that would make you much more efficient in your marketing. It would be a lot more efficient if you're in your marketing if your brand already had communicated that to your patients for you. This is what digital signage can do for you. Everybody recognizes what that is. Now here's the story about how powerful a brand can be. Ford Motor was the only one of the big three that didn't take a buyout. And one of the reasons they didn't was because they put the strength of that blue oval to work for them by using it as collateral to secure financing for future product development, and they basically kept their company alive by doing that. Now, it can't be overlooked. Dental branding is just as powerful. Every single day, perception rather than experience greatly influences buying behavior. A practice that is perceived as a gentle dental care and a relaxing environment is much better positioned to retain patients and attract new ones, especially patients who suffer from dental anxiety, even if they're not familiar with that practice. So if they're already nervous about going to the dentist, and if they're not familiar with a dentist in the area, if they see somebody and hear about somebody that is a gentle dentist, that's probably the first one they're going to call. Now, the addition of captivating visuals can significantly change the engagement experience. This kind of positive distraction reduces perceived waiting time and promotes relaxation, which is really what you want to do. When somebody's in a dental practice, you don't want them to even think about how long they've been there, and you want to relax them the minute they hit the door. Now, positive distraction using digital media and messaging of information totally improves the brand value of your practice. Imagine how this picture of Dubai changes that particular patient's mood and experience about being at the dentist. He is totally relaxed. Now, we've all seen loops of digital signage content that were boring and repetitive, and the first to object are the business's employees. They'll do that by either muting it or shutting it off. Now, you've been there. If you've been into any place that has digital signage and you visit that place often enough, like I don't know, the tire store, you'll see that same loop over and over and over. The key to it, a really good digital signage presentation, features a wide variety of themes and hundreds of hours of high-quality content, just like the TDA PTN does. So that's going to make that improve that patient's perception of the quality of the practice. So if they're relaxed, they're going to think, oh, wow, this place is even better than I thought it was. My dentist is even smarter than I thought they were. I mean, they're totally relaxed. They're going to have total confidence in you and your practice. Okay. A dentist can spend tens or even hundreds of thousands of dollars to improve the ambiance of their practice. Now, the option there would be to spend just hundreds on a larger TV and then bring in a constantly changing, high-quality experience to their patients. You need to focus the patient's attention on the screen that delivers the value and a positive, immersive experience. And the bigger the screen, the bigger the impact. People will watch, especially in the dental practice. Now, in the lobby, they're going to be there an average of 7 to 10 minutes. And they'll look at it there. In the operatories, absolutely, because they're not going to be on their phones, and the average is going to be somewhere in the 50-minute plus range that they're going to be in that chair. So you want them to focus on something that will relax them. Even if you're in a stressful state, like being at the doctor or dentist's office, viewing relaxing scenes, like the one you see here of the San Francisco Golden Gate Bridge, creates a physical response that changes your life to a degree. And that makes all the difference between having a more pleasant experience or a negative one that is highly stressful. These pleasant experiences are memorable, and we share them with family and friends. If you're going on a trip like that, you're going to talk about that kind of thing. If you've never been there before, and let's say you're sitting in the dental chair and you see this kind of brilliant footage, you're going to remember that. You're going to say that to somebody. A patient is going to walk out of your practice. They're going to go and tell somebody, oh my gosh, you're not going to believe what my dentist does now. I get to relax and watch this beautiful footage from all over the world. So they're engaging in the best form of advertising there is, and that's word of mouth. So you may get referrals off of something as simple and as compelling as that. Now, I don't need to tell dentists, they know that they're operating in a competitive environment. That's just a fact of life. But the dentist that provides a positive environment using digital signage like the TDA PTN will enhance its competitive position and the experience of going to that practice. And it'll contribute to its being the selected provider of that patient. In other words, that practice wins if they're featuring something like that. Now, I don't know if I had a chance to speak with any of you at the Star of the South in Houston, but it was a great experience. We got to talk to a lot of dentists and show them digital signage, show them the TDA PTN, and give them ideas and things that they didn't think about before as far as relaxing the patient and actually showing their own products and services on that screen. But these experience, like I said, that gives you the advantage. Okay, waiting is a reality of life. Patients often have to wait for service, and in many cases, they're stressed and anxious. Statistics show that 25% of people avoid going to the dentist due to dental anxiety. Now, if we ask the simplest question, who likes going to the dentist, almost no one's going to answer yes. Yet we know from numerous studies that scenes of nature can have a positive impact on both the mind and the body, so that pain medication needs and healing times are reduced. So patients that are on pain medication, they take less when they're looking at something like this, when they're relaxing to relaxation videos and looking at nature and other relaxing scenes. And the healing times are reduced as well. We also know that audio and visual distractions reduce perceived waiting times by 30 to 50%. Now that's huge. Think about that. Now, who wouldn't want to make a 50-minute wait in a 50-minute visit in the operatory seem more like 25 minutes? Both of these factors contribute to a more positive experience for the patient. And a happy patient is one who refers their friends and family. Okay. A study funded by Columbia University simply says that a customer in a more relaxed state has a higher perceived value of a product or service. Whatever they're doing, it's a better experience if they're relaxed. Whatever they're buying, it's definitely worth the price that they paid for it. Now, this observation would indicate that a relaxed patient in a dental practice would also be willing to schedule an elective procedure or purchase a professional dental care product as well. And it has happened. In a beta test site that we had up and running, we've had many cases where somebody in the dental chair looking up at the digital signage, seeing the dentist's own products and services advertised there, said, wait a minute, I didn't know you did orthodontics. I didn't know you offered CPAP. I didn't know you had Zoom whitening, those types of things. And when they're done with that appointment, the first thing they do is get up and make another appointment, either for themselves or somebody else in their family to take advantage of that. Now, patients also in a more relaxed state will remember the care they received more positively and for a longer period of time, increasing the likelihood that they'll remain with that practice and refer new patients. Now, that's true. Now, when you're in a situation like that, if you had a really good experience, that's going to stay with you, especially if you're in a relaxed state. That will stay with you longer, and you'll probably talk about it more to people every chance you get, especially when something like going to the dentist, that subject pops up. As I mentioned before about the beta site experience, 2 years of this experience and study with dental digital signage using the similar content that you've seen so far that is also on the TDA PTN shows a 50% increase in product communication. I'm going to tell you what that is, and you probably already know what it is. You just might not have heard it worded this way. When you're taking care of a patient comes in with a toothache. That your total goal is going to be on getting that patient out of pain. Now, if you're in that patient's mouth and you look and you're working on that, but you notice that, wow, this person could use some Invisalign, this person could use some Zoom whitening, you're probably not going to mention that. But if that patient is in that chair in the operatory looking up at the beautiful scenery and then see the ads for that particular dentist talking about the products and services that they mention, that digital signage has done its job. And it's proof, because in that beta site experience, there was an immediate 10% increase in elective procedures and product sales. Okay, here's a good example of that. here's the digital signage. Here's a screenshot taken from the TDA PTN. This brands the dental practice, and as you can see, it advertises an elective service there on the right. There's an Invisalign ad right there, and communicates to the patient in real time through the live text zone in the upper right portion of the screen. You can type whatever messages you want in that screen. You can tell them to make sure that they have their current insurance information. You can wish them a happy birthday. You can tell them about some upcoming events that you're sponsoring out in the community. You can tell them about specials that you have in the practice if you're gonna offer a Zoom white specialing or something on CPAP or whatever the case may be. This is done through the digital signage, and it's not something that the dentist or the hygienist even has to mention. But if it comes up, now it's a topic of conversation, and it's a much easier conversation to have. And as you'll see, you can see that there's room for the dentist's own logo and branding up there on the screen as well. Okay, all of these lasting benefits that bring significant value year after year does require a one-time investment, typically from $500 to $1,500. But that return on investment is in the percentage of hundreds over the lifetime of a practice, and it is transferable if the practice is sold, which is huge. Now, as far as the marketing and the advertising, which we kind of we briefly touched on there, we talked about the digital signage experience, and nobody has keyed in more to digital signage and things like that than the millennials. It's the most sought after TV demographic in the world. Advertisers want these young people to buy into their brand, whichever that brand is at that age. Those 18 to 34-year-old millennials, as they're called, they're hooked on the digital content. They seek it, and they consume it everywhere all the time. The dental practice that can fill this need helps ensure a lifetime patient. So you get them used to it. You get them used to the fact that they can see this stuff in your practice. They will absolutely love it. A lot of people, especially the younger folks, they don't want to put their phones away. Here's a way where they can still engage in the digital world, but they're obviously not going to be using their phones while they're in your chair. Okay, that kind of wraps it up here. I wanted to leave some time for some questions. Josh, I really appreciate you letting us do this. Now I'm going to open the floor here for some questions. Okay, I got a question here. Okay, got it. All right, wondering how much it will cost me. Okay, well, I did mention that it was a digital signage package might cost you anywhere from $500 to $1,500. But if you're a TDA member, what you've seen here today will cost you nothing. It's a TDA Perks member benefit. The only thing that you would have to supply are the TVs and an internet drop. The TDA sees the definite advantage of digital signage in the dental practices. They want to make you a better and more efficient practice. They want your patients to be more comfortable. They want your patients to be more relaxed, and they want them to be more informed, which you can do all of that with digital signage. Any other questions? Okay, here's another one. All right, let me read this one for you. Do I need to have screens in my operatories or just in the lobby? Okay, the real benefits of having digital signage like the TDA PTN is really showing it in the operatories. Because that's where the patients are going to be the most. That's where they're going to be there the longest. They can see it for an average of 50 to 53 minutes per visit, and that number comes from an ADA survey versus the 7 to 10 minutes that they'll be in the lobby. This is where, in the chair, this is where the anxiety and perceived waiting time need to be reduced. This is your opportunity to do that. It's also where the dentist or hygienist can use their branding and their elements that they can put on that screen, their digital signage, to help them talk about and sell their elective services and professional products. Any more? Oh, okay, there's one more here. Okay, how long would the installation take? Okay, the average installation is about 2 to 3 hours. If you're a practice that already has televisions in your practice, if they're flat panel monitors and you already have HDMI cable run, and if there's an internet drop that's reasonably reachable to a media player, it's basically a plug and play. That's something they can be in and out very quickly. Are there any other questions? Okay. Well, thank you folks very much. I really appreciate the time that you've given me today. And please, by all means, if you have any questions, contact the TDA, the Perks Program, through their website. You can find more information about the TDA PTN and us, Eastscapes. You can find a link to our website there. And don't hesitate to give us a call here at Eastscapes Dental Television. Our number here is 734-682-3409. That's 734-682-3409. And I'd love to be able to answer any questions that you might have about that. And I think it's a wonderful idea that the TDA PTN is going to supply these to TDA member dentists. So what you've seen here today can be in your practice with the TDA Perks Program picking up the bill on that.
Excellent, John. So again, we appreciate everyone's attending this webinar today. Again, this webinar will be archived, so for your convenience. And again, we really want to thank John for his time and information. And as a reminder, we've got several different resources. You know, again, our webinars, articles, resources, information for every member, as well as classes, symposiums, and pretty much everything that every member will need. Again, you can contact the TDA Perks Program. We're here at 512-443-3675, and you can visit tdaperks.com for any news that you may need. You can also contact me, and I'll give you a tour of the Perks website. And until next time, please take care, and look forward to hearing from you. Thank you.